Shabbos Daf Yudalid. We're discussing the 18 halachas that Beishamai and Beisil agreed upon. 9 of them have to do with Psulei Truma, and that's exactly what we're going to be discussing today, and very relevant to the current events today. When you understand Corona, you could have a better appreciation for Tuma and Tahara, how you have to distance yourself from the Tuma, how spit could be metame you, etc. Paisley Truma means you designate fruit for a kayin Truma. If one of the Tmeim Deiraisa touches the fruit, you have to burn the fruit. Chachamim instituted another 9 things that could passel the Truma. Passel, Lashon of Psul, means the Truma becomes usher to eat, but it doesn't have power to be metama something else. It's passel, it stops right there. What are these 9 things? Well, yesterday we discussed 10, but the Gemara in our Daf removes 1. A Tful Yom, somebody that went to the mikveh and is waiting for Shkia to become completely tahar. That is midoiraisa. If he touches fruit, truma, it becomes puzzle. So that we remove that guy from the list. We start off with 2. Somebody that eats a rishon l'tuma. Rishon l'tuma means, the way it works with tuma, you have an avat tuma, let's say. If it touches a fruit, it goes down 1 level. It becomes a rishon. If that fruit touches something, it can go down to another level, to a sheni. If a sheni touches something, it could possibly go down, not always, to a shlishi. And a shlishi touches something, it could possibly go down, depending on what it is, to a revi. It always goes down 1 level. So if a human being eats a rishon, the tuma, if he touches it, nothing happens. But if he eats it, ingests it, he himself, according to Yeshua, becomes a sheni. He goes down 1 level. Here's a big chiddush, according to Yeshua. If he eats a sheni, rather than going down 1 level to a shlishi, he remains a sheni. Now this can't go according to Rabbi Eliezer, who says that you are what you eat. So if you eat a rishon, you remain a rishon. If you eat a sheni, you remain a sheni. If you eat a shlishi, you remain a shlishi. Our sugya goes according to Rabbi Yeshua. Says Rabbi Yeshua, if a person eats a rishon or a sheni and then he touches truma, midrabanan, he makes that truma puzzle, and you have to burn it. That's a big chiddush. You have to burn the truma. It's like a deiraisa. Why is it? Why did they institute that? We were worried, Chacham say, that maybe he'll eat something that's tummy, and it'll be, let's say, hot in his mouth, and he'll try to rinse it down with wine of truma. Only wine is what we're discussing here, of truma. That's the only thing that you have to take truma from, and you could possibly ingest wine. And you're not allowed to do that, because now you're making the wine that's truma tummy. So they instituted every time a person eats something that's tummy, even a rishon or a sheni, and then he goes out and touches truma, he makes the truma possible. The third thing on the list is, and it's the same kind of gzeira, if somebody drinks something that's tameh, a liquid that's tameh. And why is it? Because perhaps he'll drink something that's tameh, and then he'll put something in his mouth that's truma. So why do I have to say it? Isn't it the same as 1 and 2? No. Most of the time when people eat something that's hot, they'll try to wash it down with some cold liquid. But most of the time, rarely ever do people drink something and then they try to stuff something in their mouth. So that's a big chiddush. The 4th thing on the list is, let's say somebody went to the mikveh and he was a tful yom, he has to wait until the nighttime. And then he rinsed himself off, he took a bath, or he poured water on himself. He becomes tameh. Why is that? Because what happened was, people used to go to the mikveh and the water was very dirty. So they rinsed themselves off with clean mayim shuvim. And eventually, people started thinking that the way they became tar was from the clean water. They didn't realize it was the mikveh. So in order to prevent that from people not going to the mikveh, just pouring water on themselves, they said, if you pour water on yourself, you become tameh. And in order to make sure that this gzeira holds, they instituted another gzeira, and that's number 5 on the list. That even a completely tahar person, that clean mayim shuvim pour on him, 3 lugim, he becomes tameh. Otherwise, the first gzeira would fall apart. And the 6th thing on the list are all Sifrei Torah, Nevi'im, and Ksuvim, all parchments, they themselves are tameh, that if they touch truma, the truma becomes puzzle. And why is that? Because people would hide their truma right next to the Sifrei Torah. They said, the Sifrei Torah is Kaddish, the truma is Kaddish, let's keep them together. Mice would come to eat the food, and by doing so, they would destroy the Sifrei Torah, Nevi'im, and Ksuvim. If you have hands that weren't washed, they are tameh, the metamet truma. Why? Because your hands touch all over your body, like corona. They keep on touching things, and people might touch truma and get disgusted by that truma after you touch a certain part of your body. So they instituted, if you don't wash your hands, truma becomes possible. Rabbi Parnach says hands that touched a sefer, they passel truma. Rabbi Yochanan says that if you touch a sefer with your bare hands, you will be buried naked, meaning without that mitzvah that you were dealing with. So let's say you were learning from a sefer Torah, and you touch that sefer Torah, so all your learning that you did with that sefer Torah flies away, you don't get that mitzvah. In what came first? The chronological order is, says the Gemara, first they made a gzeira on hands that touch the sefer Torah, and only afterwards they made the gzeira on regular hands that they are tamei, because if it was vice versa, then there was no need to make a gzeira on hands that touch the sefer Torah. They're already tamei because regular hands are tamei. Number 8 on the list is food that became tamei from liquid. The gzeira is because you might have liquid that touched a sheretz, which is mitame midori raisa. So they made also that everything that touches even hands, which is the derabanan, is also tamei. Number 9 are vessels, kelim, that became tamei through liquids that touched the sheretz. Because midori raisa, the liquids of a zav, the spit of a zav, is mitame midori raisa. So we said that the liquids that touch the sheretz are mitame the kelim. The Gemara says that Shlomo HaMelech is the first one to institute the concept of washing your hands for kachim. Later on, Hillel and Shammai instituted the concept that you have to wash your hands for truma. But nobody accepted it. Klal Yisrael didn't accept the gzeira. Until the Talmidim, Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel came along, and they instituted the gzeira, and then they even said, Hillel and Shammai originally said that it's so strong the gzeira that you have to burn the truma, which typically you don't do. Typically you do toila, you let it stay there and go to waste. The Gemara tells us that there was zugos. The first zug was Yossi ben Yoezer's trader and Yossi ben Yochanan in Yerushalayim. And they instituted a number of gzeros. One of them was that dirt from other nations is mitama because the other nations weren't careful and didn't mark their graves, and their dead are tamei mid'Rabbanan. So they said that the dirt is also tamei. And they said that even glassware is mitama, becomes tamei, and so too kli matchos, which we're going to go into. Shimon ben Shedach said that up until that day, the ksuva of a woman was put aside. It doesn't say here's a ksuva, it's in this vessel. Then he'd get really mad at her and say, take your ksuba and go, because he had nothing to lose, it was already designated. Shimon Shedach said, no, a woman could go after any of the husband's money anywhere. She go after his business, whatever she wants. So therefore, a man will think twice before he divorces his wife. And finally, Shmuel tells us that Hillel and Shammai only argued about 3 things in the entire Shas, whereas the Talmid and Beis Hillel and Shammai argued on many, many things, including every one of the 18 takanas that are Misakin. Have a wonderful day.